Hello, my name is Kareem and I'm going to be presenting my 1.1 linked list assignment. I'm going to showcase what my code does and then I'm going to explain it. Basically, this is supposed to be like a game space generator, which is basically just like places you can interact with games, buy games, talk about them, read about them, so on. Anything like that, that is a website that would be in the list. So let's just display the list first. And we can see here that there's a multitude of games here. Um, and let's say I wanted to view the game. I would press 9, which allows me to view the current website, and that is mini clip. Now, let's say I want to view the next website, which is 7. Oops, well, my bad. I'm going to press 8. The next website, if I wanted to view it and go to the next website, I would press 2. I'll explain 7 and 8 in a second. But let's say I want to go to the previous website, I would press 3. And if I wanted to go back again, it wouldn't work. And if I was to press 8, it wouldn't work because I'm already at the start. 8 does the same exact thing as 3, except it doesn't display the website. It just tells me the next position. Let's say I wanted to go to the end of my list. I would press, I could press 2 a bunch of times, but I'm gonna press 7, and it tells me what website I'm on, just because I don't have to deal with a bunch of pop-ups. So I'm gonna go to the end of the website of my website list, and you can see here you're already at the end of the list. Please input what you like to do. Um, so yeah, now that we're at the end of the list, I can press 9 and it's going to display IGN. I can press 2. I mean, why? If I could try to press 2, it won't work, but I could press 3 and it's going to go back and show the previous website. And then if I press 2 again, it's going to show IGN again, right? Now, if I wanted to add a website, I simply have to just copy that URL, and then I would do for to add website and then insert the name, and then I could press 1 and we can see here that the website is up here. So if I was to do I'm not actually sure where we are. I mean, we're at, I forget where we are. We're at GameSpot, which is at the near the bottom. Okay, so I'm not going to do all that. I'm just going to do find, which is going to ask me to input the name of the website, which we have, and then boom, it shows it for us because it already exists. And it actually is updated. So now if I was to, nope, if I was to press 9, it's going to showcase us that because that is now the new index. We're at that index, which I believe is 1 or yeah. Yeah. This is, yeah. That's, yeah. So with that said and done, I think the only thing now is removing websites. Now I can remove as many websites as I want. It says IGN was removed. It's going to start from the back to the front. And if I was to try to remove every website, it's going to tell me to add some websites or whatever. And if I was to try to do display, it wouldn't display anything besides GameStop because GameStop is the only URL that exists. So that is the visual aspect of it. Now I'm going to kind of explain how it works. And I'm gonna try not to take forever. So basically, inside my code, we have some variables here. This variable mainly just keeps track of where we are in the list. And then this is what I use to view the websites. It's just a very small function, but we do it a couple of times, so I made it a function for basically getting the current index that we're at, and then it just kind of calls the website and pulls it up for you. And it only works on Windows. And because I use Windows, I wouldn't even be sure how to test it on any other device. So yeah, but here's my list of websites. Here's my loop and all the text and whatnot. Now the one is pretty simple. It just runs the print function, and I'll explain the functions later. But or maybe I should do that. It's too late, whatever. Um, the 2 here, it gets the size of the list and then it compares it to the current index size. If the current index size is greater, then we're going to be looking at we can add to the index, right? We can go further as long as we aren't past the size of the list, right? And the opposite is the case for the three. We can go back as long as we aren't less than one, which wouldn't be a website. As for the four, it just gets the user choice and then it inputs it as a website. Pretty simple. Then the five, it gets the size of the list and it checks if it's not empty, and then we do pop back, so we get rid of the item at the back of the list, and we decrease the size of the list to accommodate that. And then we check to see if the current list index is greater than the side of the list, purely because let's say we were at, like, let's say 19 and then the size of the list goes down to 18. That could create some errors, so I just make sure to check that every single time we remove a website. um but yeah, as for six, it just is okay. So first it checks to see, it gets the user input, and then it checks to see if that website exists, and if that website exists, then we get the index of that website in the list, and then we display that website. Seven is the same thing as two, just it just displays it prints it out, but it doesn't display it. The same exact thing, same exact thing. And then same thing for eight. For three, it just prints it out, doesn't display it. Nine just displays the website. And then 10, oh, I didn't showcase that one. I mean, you could probably guess what that one does, but oh, there you go. So yeah, that's my main CPP. Now my functions here, these are the ones that I use between my function CPP and my main CPP. Um, Inside my functions, it's just the stuff that we covered with the nodes. So inside of the node, we essentially create two nodes. The next node, which we use to basically keep track of the items that are ahead of the in the node list, and then the previous, we use it to basically check items that are the before the in the nodes, like the previous node, right? I'm trying to over explain it. Anyways, the head of the node is basically just our way of keeping track of the start, and our current is just a way for us to kind of travel through the list, um, which we create two nodes for. Inside of our insert, we create a new node, and that new node we just use so that we can update the list. If the head is null, which in other words is just saying if the net had, like, if we haven't done anything to the head yet, um, then I'm sorry. If we haven't added anything yet, then the beginning is going to be that new node, and that new node dot next is going to be equal to null because there is no node there yet. And the string is going to be the website or the string that we input, and then the previous value is going to be null because there's nothing before it or after it yet, since it is the first item, right? Otherwise, meaning it's not the first item, then we're just going to set the new node string to the new website. Then the next item is going to be the head, and the previous node for the head is going to be the new node. And then because head is the new node, then we can set new node to previous. So basically we store the value from the previous, we store the previous value as the I'm sorry, we set the head node equal to the new node, and we set the head the head pointer uh to the head, we set the head pointer that's pointing to the previous node as the new node. I don't think I explained that well, but essentially what we're doing here is we're just storing the new node inside of the head. We're setting the previous value to null, but before that we're getting the head.previous as the new node before we set the previous value to null. I hope that is a little bit better. Sorry. Um, and then the print value here is pretty simple. We're just going to loop through the entire list until we reach the end, which would be null. Head is the beginning, as I've said before, and we just print each value, setting current.next to the setting current as current.next. So we're setting it to the next value until we reach the end. Get website. We essentially just loop through every item in the list until we reach the website, and then we return it as true. Otherwise, we return it as false. Not that different from print. What's another one that's not that different from print? I guess get index, right? That one is pretty similar as well. We loop through until we get the end, we get the website, and then we return the index since we'll be counting it with current index. Very, very similar. Get size is also very, very similar to that. We just literally just add to it. We just add 1 to each item in the list, and then we return that value. And then print one website again is very, very similar. What is this? Current may be no. Return. 1 second. Okay, I fixed that. It was just giving me that issue because I was returning current despite current possibly being null. It didn't like me doing that, so I just returned a random string here, and I added another if statement. If is null. But basically all we're doing is we're just looping through the list again, and we're checking to see if the website that's correct, right? Yeah. We're just looping through to find this one website based off of the index that we're storing. We're just gonna loop. We're gonna go through each website until we reach the end, or we reach that number, and then we basically return that value. No, we don't. We return that yeah. We return that string. We return that string that we find after we loop, which would be current.string. Yep, current.string. 1, 2. I kind of went in a very weird order with this. Did I do pop back? I think I did pop back. Pop back. Did I do? Okay, I don't think I did. Current equals head is essentially just we've already covered this. We're setting it to the beginning, and we're just checking it. We're doing wall the next value. So not the value that's ahead, but the value ahead of that one. As long as that one is not equal to null, then we can go on to the next value. But when we do find a value that is at the end, that is not, when we do find a value that is near the end, or is the second to, when we're at the value that is the second to last value, we are going to remove the value ahead of that one, which is why we do next. So we're removing the actual last value, and we're going to stay at the second value. Right now we're at the second to last value, and then we remove the value after it. So now it is the new last value, which is why we do current.next is equal to null. So yeah. Also, it eliminates. Yeah. I think I said that right. Yeah. Sorry, I kind of just over explained it, and it took a long time. But yeah, that's all.